Hey friends, so we're back for another episode, and I know this is super quick, what a turnaround, but the Steelers-Browns brawl has been all over the news. And I don't just mean sports news, I mean news, national news. It's been all over national news as well. So we have to talk about this more. After listening to all of these like tenured analysts and these amazing football minds and these former football players and all of these different various folks, I felt the need to do another vlog. We're going to talk about the Steelers-Browns brawl. Obviously, we're going to talk about the suspensions. We're also going to talk about college football because a lot of stuff happened today, most notable being the Alabama quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, who is out for the season. We're going to get to that as well. But we have to talk about Colin Kaepernick's workout. That has also turned into a thing and a situation, and a lot of people have a lot of things to say, and I am going to give you my take on Colin Kaepernick and his workout. And then of course I'm going to give you guys a couple of game previews for Sunday's games, but we have to start with the Steelers-Browns brawl. So let's talk about the punishments that the NFL doled out for the Steelers-Browns brawl and the ones that they didn't. Of course, Myles Garrett, he's going to be suspended indefinitely, which essentially means that for the rest of the season, he will not be able to play. The rest of the season is 6 games, and he will not be able to play for if the Browns make the playoffs. So any postseason games for this year, he will not be able to play. And then he's going to have to sit down with Roger Goodell and get reinstated and all of that other stuff. And there's a lot that goes into that as well, but that's a bridge that he will have to cross when he gets to it. Then Maurkice Pouncey, the guy who you can see on video kicking Myles Garrett as he's laying on the ground, or he's being held on the ground by David DeCastro, who is another O lineman for the Steelers. Pouncey gets 3 games. Larry, I think his name is Larry Ogunjobi, he had come in and pushed Mason Rudolph on the ground. Like, he pushed him in the back and Mason Rudolph like lands on the ground. This is like seconds after Mason Rudolph had just gotten hit in the head with the helmet by Myles Garrett. Both teams, the Browns and the Steelers, are both going to be fined $250,000. Mason Rudolph has yet to be fined. Mason Rudolph has also yet to be punished. I have a major issue with that. I feel like I'm the only person on the planet who is upset that Mason Rudolph has not gotten any type of punishment at all. He should at least get suspended for a game. Period, point blank, end of story. Mason Rudolph is steadily trying to fight this man. You're charging at the guy who literally just ripped the helmet off of your head. Like, he swung you by your face mask while the helmet was still on your head and ripped it off. I'm not excusing Myles Garrett, but you could have been severely hurt because you decided that it was a good idea for you to run after the man who just ripped your helmet off your head. I don't like people who are not accountable for their actions. Myles Garrett took it. Myles Garrett said he was wrong for what he did. It's unacceptable. It's inexcusable. Mason Rudolph needs to come out and say that it was inexcusable and unacceptable for him to react the way that he did to the late hit. How many guys in the league get hit late and have that same reaction that Mason Rudolph did? How many guys get hit late in a game and it ends in a melee? In his post-game interview, he's talking about this was cowardly and this was Bush League. You were out there upset that you had thrown 4 interceptions, looked bad all game. You played terribly. And then this guy takes you down for a late hit. How many times have you been hit late in a game and tried to rip a guy's helmet off? How many times? It's unfair to pretend like Mason Rudolph is just a victim in this, because Mason Rudolph played a part. He played a part, so he should be suspended as well. Period, point blank, end of story. This is obviously going to play out over the next couple of weeks, because in 2 weeks, the Steelers and the Browns play each other again with teams that look very, very different. As I said, I've been listening to a lot of NFL analysts and former players and just reporters who report on the NFL all the time, and just people around the league. I've been listening to a lot of just commentary about Pouncey and what Pouncey did. And if you remember, on Friday morning, I was like super upset about Pouncey, and my whole vlog was about him. My whole rant was about Maurkice Pouncey, because I was upset that he had kicked this man while he was laying on the ground. I was upset about it, and I'm still upset about it, because I still think that I've listened to NFL analysts and former players and current players all say I would have done the same exact thing if I was in his situation. And the only thing that I can think of is, regardless of whether everybody would have done it or not, that doesn't negate the fact that it is wrong to kick somebody. Period, point blank, end of story. It's not acceptable. The NFL, strangely enough, set up a workout for Colin Kaepernick so that the teams could come in and see where he's at. If you remember, Colin Kaepernick has been blackballed If you disagree with me saying that he was blackballed, like, get over yourself. That's what happened. Colin Kaepernick has not played professional football since 2016. Him and his representatives have stated multiple times over the last couple of years that Kaepernick has stayed in shape, has stayed ready to play football for when a team will come calling. And there have been a variety of reports that say that Colin Kaepernick is just, he's not ready to play. He's not as in shape. He's really not that good. Just so many different narratives have been floating around about Colin Kaepernick and his ability to play quarterback in the NFL. Now, if you have watched any NFL football in even the last 6 weeks, you will know that there are a variety of teams that actually could use a quarterback. Mind you, Colin Kaepernick, when he was playing in the league, he was good. He was a lot better than half of the guys that we have in the league. Like, there are a few teams that could use a quarterback. There are a lot of stipulations in the deal about whether the NFL was going to allow media. Originally, it was supposed to be a closed workout at an NFL practice facility or team facility, whatever it was going to be. The NFL finally landed on the Falcons facility. There's a Falcons practice facility that the NFL had landed on, and so they were going to have this workout there. It was going to be close to the media, but you can see how that might pose a problem for Colin Kaepernick and his representatives, because if nobody can see what's happening, you are free to say Colin Kaepernick just isn't ready to play. He's not as good as he used to be. The ability to give excuses is there if there is not transparency, which is the word specifically that Colin Kaepernick's representatives used in citing the reason why they had to change the venue for the workout. They changed it very close to the time that he was actually supposed to have the workout to a high school facility, somewhere that was like right outside of Atlanta. The media is allowed. You can see all over the internet, like, just a variety of videos of him working out on the field. It's been reported that he threw short passes and he threw long passes and he stretched and he did all of these things, and he really showed people what he can actually do. There was a report that he still has an elite arm for a guy who hasn't played in 3 years. From all reports I have seen, he had a great day and he looked good out there. He brought his own receivers in, guys who currently play in the NFL that were out there catching passes from him. So we will see in the next coming weeks what transpires for Colin. This is going to be a very interesting story to follow. I guarantee you that there will be plenty of commentary, just plenty of different takes, and who knows, maybe a signing. So in other news, college football took a hit today. Alabama quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, it's hard to really say his last name. Tua suffered a hip injury or a hip dislocation with a posterior wall fracture. I'm not entirely sure what all of those words mean altogether, but it is a season-ending injury. He will miss the remainder of the season. It's always a running joke how many players Alabama is going to send to the NFL every single year. Tua has been amazing. He's played so well, and just about a month ago, Tua had suffered a right ankle injury. It's been probably like 29, 30 days, something like that, since he underwent surgery, and so he wasn't 100%. He was a game time decision in this game against Mississippi State today, and he comes in and he's playing pretty well. I think he was 14 for 17 or something like that, and he had 200 plus yards. According to Nick Saban, he was going to take him out, but he wanted him to practice a 2-minute drill, and Tua stays in one play and gets hurt on it. And it's unfortunate for the college football world because this, as I said, has playoff implications now, because the college football playoff rankings, they were 5. And I mean, they just lost to LSU last week. How does Alabama get ranked now? I mean, LSU and Ohio State are ahead of them, but there's also teams like Oregon who are coming up behind them, and it's now that they literally have lost their quarterback, a quarterback who has played extremely well for them, and they're going to have to start Mac Jones now. We're going to see how they play in this next game. I believe they play Western California or something like that, but the week after that, they play in the Iron Bowl against Auburn. So we will see in the coming weeks how the college football playoff picture changes and what evolves from it. So all the prayers to Tua on any surgery and recovery and rehab, and all of that has to happen. In this last segment, I want to talk about the upcoming games. My Eagles play the Patriots, and I'm a little bit stressed. Alshon Jeffrey has been absolutely ruled out for Sunday. He will not play. We recently signed Jordan Matthews, re-signed him because Jordan Matthews, as you know, used to play for us. He will be starting on Sunday, but it's Tom Brady and the Patriots. The last time we played each other was in the Super Bowl, and the Patriots lost to us. So you know that they are coming in guns blazing. Tom Brady said that he still hasn't forgotten the loss. I'm sure that nobody on the team has forgotten that loss because it's a Super Bowl loss. It's the biggest loss you can suffer on the biggest stage in the sport. So of course, that's going to be something that definitely motivates and, you know, pushes the Patriots through the game. And I'm just hoping that the Eagles can find some type of motivation because they have looked lackluster in the last couple of weeks. And I say that with the most love in my heart that I can for the Philadelphia Eagles. I just saw this morning that we have signed Jay Ajayi because Darren Sproles is obviously going to be out for the season. He suffered an injury, so he's not going to be able to play, and it's looking like he might retire. So sad. Darren Sproles is a two-time champion, such a great guy. Sad to see him go down with an injury, and it's sad to see him go if he actually retires. But so we signed Jay Ajayi, and obviously Jay Ajayi was there when we made that Super Bowl run, so I'm hoping that we can muster up some nostalgic feels or something, maybe. I don't know, but that game I'm definitely going to be tuned into for obvious reasons. Sunday's biggest game is going to be the Houston Texans versus the Baltimore Ravens. It's just going to be a big game. It's Lamar Jackson, it's Deshaun Watson, arguably two of the best quarterbacks in the game right now. Definitely Lamar Jackson, an MVP candidate. I think Deshaun Watson is right up there with him. It's going to be a battle, and it's going to be a good one. Lamar Jackson has just been sensational on the football field. He's been breaking ankles. He's been throwing the ball all over the field. Like, Lamar Jackson is just a good time to watch. But Deshaun Watson is also a very electrifying, exciting player to watch because he can just get things done when you think that he's just going to go down. Because, of course, Deshaun Watson has weapons. Lamar Jackson has weapons, and they're both weapons in and of themselves. Watson has like 18 passing touchdowns, 5 rushing touchdowns, something like that, 5 interceptions. Lamar Jackson has similar numbers where he has 15 or so passing touchdowns, 5 or so rushing touchdowns, 5 interceptions. They can do similar things. That's going to be one of the best games this Sunday. I mean, I thought the Detroit Lions-Cowboys game was going to be a good one because people sleep on the Detroit Lions, but they're going to be out of Matthew Stafford because he had suffered some back injury or whatever. So Matthew Stafford is not going to be playing. So the Cowboys are just, if Jeff Driscoll can beat the Cowboys, Jeff Driscoll is going to be the quarterback who starts for the Detroit Lions because Matthew Stafford is out. If Jeff Driscoll can beat the Cowboys, I will personally buy my own Jeff Driscoll jersey. If he does it though, I'm telling you right now, I will buy a Jeff Driscoll jersey if I can find one. I don't even know if they sell those. I might have to go to Detroit myself to find that jersey. All right, friends, that's it for this episode of Katherine's Quarters. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any great content. And of course, it's Sunday. Follow me on Twitter and we can talk all about the games. And I definitely want to hear you guys' take on Steelers-Browns Brawl and the Kaepernick workout. Let's talk about it. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any great content, and definitely make sure you follow me on Twitter so we can have these conversations. Check you guys later.